All right, now it's time to talk about some of the other supplies you'll want to have on hand when you're doing exfoliation treatments. When you're, especially in a dry climate, a lot of dead skin, it's going to be flying around. You don't want to breathe that in. You want to have gloves on your hands just like you normally have during any treatment. So definitely wear plastic gloves, latex gloves, any sort of mask. This is a little more hardware looking, but any mask that you would use in clinic, because like I said, you're going to see dust, and that is DNA and skin coming off in your direction. So you definitely want to protect yourself. And then last but not least, you'll want some sort of antibacterial wipe. And this will be used to clean off the extra skin particles, which you'll see on the backing pad afterwards. It also helps to take off any oily residue that might seep through from the shea butter treatment and the lotion that you're using. Brings up a good point. Whenever you're using the plush blue lotion mitt, you don't want to use a loose oil and pour it onto the pad, onto this pad, because it's pretty porous here. I don't know if you can see as closely, but it'll pour right through there, and what you're going to do is soak this foam back like a sponge, and your buff smooth stickers won't stick. So anything thick like our shea butter, which I'll show you again, a little close up here maybe. It's nice and thick, kind of a buttery, almost like a ghee or butter texture. And same thing with the chocolate cocoa butter. There we go. So it's nice and thick and goopy. So that will tend to not go through your pad. Again, the precaution from a sanitary and from a use standpoint. Here, I'm not going to use all the equipment that we would normally use in clinic. I'm just doing a quick treatment. So I'm going to show you on Morgan's arm here. She has just a little bit of grow back. Do you have lotion on this arm? Yeah. Okay. Feels a little humid, so there's a little humidity. And if you could see closely, she just has very, very short hairs. You probably won't be able to pick it up on camera. A little by her elbow, which you must have missed a spot last time when we buffed. So we're going to do a quick arm treatment. Now, she has pretty fine skin. She has soft skin. So we really don't need to stay on an area all that long. In fact, if we do it for too long, she's going to get redness and maybe a little kind of a rug burn, or if you will. So again, same thing. Make sure we're going to check in with her. If you put any lotion or oil, which we've done already, we're feeling her skin to make sure it's dry and in right condition. I'm also checking for, so this is very important, any open wounds, any not scars, but scabs, any scrapes, anything like that, you're going to have to avoid. It doesn't mean you can't do the treatment. It just means if you put this pad over and you're exfoliating, you're going to have a heck of you could open up a scab, an open wound, which brings us to our next point. If there's any skin tags or moles, anything that's sort of raised off the skin, again, with the same thing with the potential paper cut, because that edge of that disc, you can literally slice off a mole. So it is very dangerous. You're not going to cause serious harm, but you don't want your customer to be bleeding at the end, because that's no good, and they're not going to want to see that. So you really want to be careful, take a look, and make sure that she has no acute skin conditions. You might also, if you're working on them regularly for waxing or for other treatments, you probably know about their skin type and are familiar with how their skin might react to this kind of situation. First, if there is any question, if they don't wax regularly, if they have skin sensitivities, if they have pale skin, you might want to just try one area for about 3 to 5 seconds and then give it 5 minutes and see. Because you typically, if they're going to have a bad reaction or a burning sensation or redness, they're going to get that within the first minute or so. So you could actually just try a little spot on a less sensitive part, especially on a leg is good, up on a thigh, and give them a few minutes and see if they respond sort of adversely to the treatment. So let's go ahead and do Morgan's arm here. So the purpose of this really is not to take hair off the body, although it's a big wow factor that something that looks like this could actually take hair off the body without pain. The reason that we're providing this treatment is because it's exfoliating, and we're providing a quick, easy, painless exfoliation. We're sloughing off a layer of dead skin for her whole body or whatever area that she wants us to work on. But it's a great treatment, and nobody really provides that treatment unless you go to a spa and get scrubbed down quite a bit. But it's a vigorous massage, and it can be painful at times. So this is easy, it's fast. you know, within about 5 minutes, just for the exfoliation, I could have her whole body covered in dust and soft as a peach. So let's just do her arm. We'll focus here. Another thing this is great for is any rough patches on the back of the tricep or the back of the arm area. It will really smooth those out. Again, you'll want to make sure that you're not starting with kind of open sores. So you want, if it's just rough patches and closed skin, you'll be able to safely smooth it out perfectly. And so we'll make sure, again, our machine's on high. We have our sticker centered. It's not pushed in too hard. I'm going to check in again and ask her, does this feel okay?
Yep.
Okay. So you can see on the back of her arm, and we'll bring that around. Now what I'm doing right here is I'm working from section to section, okay? So actually turn your arm a little bit more. So I'm working section by section. Only about 2 inches of this 6-inch pad is going to be hitting her skin at one time. So, and once I see that dust and no hair, I know that area is done. So I don't want to go over that again. I'm going from either top to bottom or bottom to top. If you follow lymph, the pattern of lymph, you'll always want to work towards the heart. So if you want to do that, you're welcome to. It's a great sort of upgrade, because you are, even while we're exfoliating, we are giving her a circulation and lymph treatment at minimum. So you can see, close up, you can see there's a fine layer of dust here. Okay, that's her top layer of skin. I don't want to go any further. The arms are more sensitive skin than the legs typically, so I want to make sure that I'm not going too deep. Now you'll notice her arm is, I have her arm straight. Again, if I had her arm curved and I went up into this section, bad paper cut, okay? We'll move around here, get the underarms real quick. So if you have stubborn hair, do not over exfoliate to try to get that hair. You're gonna have to explain to your client, you know what, this is designed for small, thinner hair, and I don't want to run the risk of over exfoliating you right now just to try to get that hair out. So you can go back and wax that if they're not coming in for waxing. So the top section of her arm is done. Now I'm going to move towards the bottom. You can see that layer of dust right there, right? So if she feels peach soft right now, is any of this hurting yet? Okay, not at all. It's so fast. I mean, it's about a 2-second pass for her. You know, she's 20 years old. She probably hasn't been shaving your arms very long. Do you shave them do you wax or shave them?
Neither.
Neither? Oh, okay, just buff.
Yep.
So she's only buffed them. So now we get to a little hairier part, so to speak, of the body. The elbows, and we'll go over the knees as well. Now with this machine, since it's rotating so fast, with this slightly abrasive pad, if I go over loose skin right here on her elbow, she's going to feel like a catch, like it hurts for a second. So what we want to try to do is actually we're going to have her bend her elbow and get that skin as taut as possible. We're also going to be really careful around it. So right on bone is the only part of that this machine does not feel great on. Okay, it is soft when you're doing muscle recovery and certain things, but you want to be careful when it's right on bone. So again, there's a little bit of hair right here, just a little bit, which is hard to see in this camera, but I'm just gently going. I'm also, even though I'm only using let's see, where am I? Even though I'm only using about this much of this pad, I'm not edging into it. Because if I edge into it, I'm just going to cut right into her skin. So only the flat part of the disc is touching, and I'm sort of working around her elbow. Does that hurt at all? Okay. Now the other thing it's going to do is any callous skin here is also going to be smoothed down as well. So I've seen some people with extremely calloused weenuses, which is a word for this, and we filed them down and they were good as new. So I don't want to, pretty much done here. So let's take a look at your arm. Okay, so she's basically has a nice layer of thin dust. I'm going to get right in that divot right there, just right in the inside of the elbow, because you have a straight enough elbow to do it. Most people I wouldn't actually be able to do this on, but yours kind of bowls out enough and there's a flat enough surface. Okay, so are you feeling any burning, any discomfort at all? Okay, so that's good. Sometimes you will, but hopefully you'll spot test first. So now let's if we can get in on this shot, I'm going to peel off this sticker, and you'll see that there is dead skin cells around there. Okay, so this is going to go in the trash. And I'm going to take a fresh wipe, and you'll see that this is going to come off. So this is a model we've used quite a bit. You can see some of the foam a little bit coming off there from people sticking on too much. But this is nice and clean right now. Okay, so we're going to toss that. Now we're going to grab our blue lotion mitts. So if we think about what we've done here, we filed off a layer of top layer of dead skin. There's a lot of blood flow, which the action the machine brings towards the surface of the skin and through the soft tissue. And you've got a bunch of friction from that, from the fast rotation and the contact with the skin. So it's really opened up her pores in a new way. And it's really, what we're doing is preparing the skin to be hydrated on an intensive level. Okay, this is unlike anything your customers have seen before. So again, we're going to stretch this cover out, put it between our legs, and firmly go over. Strain it out a little bit. And we're going to take some of our shea butter. Actually, this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a thin layer of chocolate butter. So this is going to go, again, deeper into the skin. It's going to absorb quickly. Now for a whole arm, for one arm, honestly you need about maybe 1/8 or 1/4 of a teaspoon. When you're doing treatments, you're going to be doing a larger surface of the body, so about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon, and we'll go over that again, of total cream for the entire body. And again, so it doesn't fly off all over both of us, we're going to spread it without the machine on. We're going to turn the machine on. Now this really, you can see a smile on her face. She's smiling because it feels really good. Because this is really just like an amazing massage, but she gets also the shea butter. So we're feeding her skin. She's got a nice smile, which I've never smiled during waxing. Most of your clients aren't smiling unless you're giving them some humor. But I'm going to make sure to get every little part. And at the end, I can do a little hand massage for her. And that feels nice. See? The smiles again. Smiles. Okay, so now let's look at her. Okay, so this is the chocolate butter. Now if you look close, you can get a close up. You really don't see much, and I don't feel much, because that's all really absorbed in. Now what I'm going to do is take a little layer of shea butter, of the shea and cocoa butter, without any water. And again, I actually put a little too much, so I'm keeping some on my knife for next time. And I'm going to do the same application. So your client's going to want you to keep doing this all afternoon because it feels so good. But their skin is going to look completely radiant and amazing when they walk out of your spa, and they're going to be bragging to all their friends and their husbands or wives or anybody about how soft, feel my arm, feel my legs. It's just great. The cool part, the thing I really like about this treatment overall, any treatment you're doing, you're really giving a wellness treatment. If we kind of dumb it down to its minimal, you're giving a wellness treatment to your customers at the same time. So when they walk out, they're going to be feeling great. They're not going to be feeling like they got tugged and pulled and ripped apart. So how do you feel?
Amazing.
Can we do like a sort of side by side here? So let's see how tight you can get in there. Not showing up as much, but you can see there's no hair at all. There's just, I missed one spot. Her arm feels like a baby's bottom over here, and here like a baby's back. Okay? But we want the bottom part, all over the body. All right, and then again, so at the end of this, we're going to take this blue, plush blue cover off. Gently, if I rip at it, it's going to start to rip this foam pad off over time. So you want to kind of gently take it around, undo it, put it in a dirty pile, and then we're going to take another wipe and wipe off any excess residue. Okay? Beautiful. Thank you, Morgan.
You're welcome.